Okay, so we have my favorite bodybuilding magazine here. This is my personal favorite because it is the oldest. As you can see, it's from August 1990. Now, this is special to me because of that date, because many believe that the 90s were the peak of bodybuilding. This is when the physiques were at their best and the competitions were the most stacked. Now, again, that's just an opinion that I agree with, but I do think that the 90s represents the peak of bodybuilding. Got Arnold on the cover here. Yeah, the 90s was right before the mass monster era, you know, when the physique started getting too big and the guys started getting blocky with the thick waists and the distended bellies. Nuke legs. So you got Mike Christian down here. I was a big Mike Christian fan. Yeah, I just love this era. No more gorilla suits. Too often advertisements give you more promise than performance. Yeah, you can say that again. All right, Tom Platz. Look at this. Lee versus Lee. Lee Haney versus Lee Labrada. Now, I think this book came out right before the 1990 Mr. Olympia, which was the first drug-tested event in the history of the IFBB. Of course, it was a joke because all the guys did was just cycle off they just cycled off their anabolic assistance maybe 6 months or so before the competition. You know, so they weren't as big and as hard as you would expect. You know, but they were still enhanced, and you could tell. You know, so they just cycled off of it in time so that they could test clean to make it officially a drug-tested event. But of course, the next year they just went back to business as usual and just allowed these guys to use whatever they wanted, whatever anabolic assistance was necessary. But I hate to say it, but I mean, the physiques weren't as impressive, you know, because we were already used to seeing bodybuilders who were enhanced, you know. So you just can't go backwards, obviously. Bertle Fox. Don't neglect tie-ins. But I love this era, which is why this is my favorite magazine. I just think, you know, bodybuilding was at its best from around the late 80s to about the early to mid 2000s, in my opinion. And at this point, I don't even know who the current Mr. Olympia is. I really don't. I just don't keep up with it anymore. But also, I mean, since buying this magazine in high school, I ended up working in the industry. And I know a lot more about this stuff than I did back then. So just in general, I don't feel the same way about bodybuilding as I used to. There's a dark side to it that people don't understand, you know, and that came from being a professional. Big Lou. I was always a big Rich Gaspari fan. He was the man. I remember when this guy here was supposed to be the next big thing, Troy Zucolato. That happened a lot in bodybuilding. Such and such was supposed to be the next big thing, and you know, then they never won any prominent shows and just kind of disappeared. Tough sport, that's for sure. Mike Christian, come back to victory. Yeah, I was always a big fan of Mike Christian. I don't know about you, but I think he looks incredibly doofy in this photo. Part of the plan for winning big includes serious heavy-duty back workouts. Yeah, Mike Christian was a beast. Since pull-ups pre-exhaust the lats, pull-downs directly work that wide outer sweep, often called wings. Well, never mind. I'm not, I don't even know if I should get into it. But okay, maybe I will. Pull-ups are a double joint movement. They're a compound movement. So they can't be a pre-exhaustion technique. Whoever wrote that should know better. Yeah. A pre-exhaustion technique is a single joint movement followed by a double joint movement. So pull-ups and whatever else, if it's double joint, can't constitute pre-exhaustion. Now, I'm pissed at myself because I cut out a picture here. What an idiot I was. But, obviously back then I didn't realize that these magazines would become so precious. But this is obviously Lee Haney. What an idiot. Oh, my gosh. I'm so mad at myself. Yeah, well, nobody's perfect. But if I knew that these things would become a thing of the past, I never would have cut out anything. I think I cut out another picture as well, like an idiot. Barry DeMay. He was pretty aesthetic back in the day. Michael Ashley. Destroyer delts. Mike Menzer. Yeah. He got ripped off in the 1980 Mr. Olympia. I think it was the 1980 when Arnold won. Really, I think Mike Menzer should have won that, if I'm not mistaken. I think I have the right Olympia. Samir Bannout, J.J. Marsh. Look at this, man. Samir Bannout was still competing in 1990. Gary Stridham, he was still with the IFBB in 1990. He eventually went on to the WBO, I think, which was the World Bodybuilding Organization. Samir Bannout won the 1983 Mr. Olympia, and I think he deserved it. He really looked great that year. Is that Albert Beckles? Yeah, that is Albert Beckles. Yeah. I remember when Aaron Baker was supposed to be the next best thing with his Jerry curl. Sean Ray. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Sean Ray, I remember this. I remember Sean Ray's posing routine in this competition, and he beat Mike Ashley. Yeah. He posed to Superstar by Luther Vandross's version. That was a great posing routine. If I'm not mistaken, I get some of these competitions confused. Yeah, but he beat Mike Ashley, so I think that is it. Training past failure. Yeah, they say that when you want to maximize muscle overload, I mean, the set begins at failure. You know, that type of training catches up to you eventually. Still hungry. Yeah, this is awesome. Now, I think I cut out one of these pictures of Arnold and put it on my wall like an idiot. I'd love to just still have it here in the book, but I think it's coming up, or maybe I'm wrong. Oh, okay, I guess I didn't. Oh, there, yeah, I did. Look at this right here, like an idiot. I cut something out. That's so stupid. Intensity. No matter how much resistance life may have handed him, Arnold never put out less than 110%. Reg Park. Yeah. I think he played Hercules. Lee Labrada. Tony Pearson. World Gym, home of bodybuilding's biggest stars. Reach higher peaks. Yeah, Lee Haney would have loved to have had higher bicep peaks. So would Dorian Yates. But, you know, that's genetic. I mean, you can only change it so much. I remember this picture here. Yeah, I remember this, or this advertisement or whatever. I remember this. I remember I ended up getting both of my ears pierced because of this picture. I thought he looked so cool with both ears pierced. Yeah, and now you know that's almost commonplace. Back in 1990, you didn't see many people with earrings in both ears, or many men with earrings in both ears. Yeah, I was in high school when I got this, and I'm 50. I'm almost 53 now. So as you can see, I'm somewhat of a hoarder, because I mean most people wouldn't have kept this for that long. I mean this magazine is 34 years old, man, almost 35 years old. Wow. Look at all those supplements, man. Reader is sugar-free. You may as well include the sugar. I mean, particularly for the hard gainers, you know, that want to gain muscular body weight. I mean, what's the difference? Nimrod King. Yeah, he was really very thick, very muscularly dense. He was supposed to be the next big thing. Lee Haney. Lee Haney's Mass Guide. I personally think this is just my opinion, but I think the whole mass monster thing ended with Lee Haney, because after Lee Haney, they kept getting bigger and more blocky. And you know, that's after Lee Haney. You started to see the thick waists, you know, and the distended, bloated guts. You know, so yeah. I mean, and Dorian was pretty good. I mean, his waist was thick, but he wasn't bloated. But yeah, I think, in my opinion, I mean, the whole mass monster thing peaked with Lee Haney. You know, because I mean, he was really, really huge, really saturated, just really dense and really full, as you can see, but he still maintained a small waist. You just don't see that as much anymore. Good old Joe Weider. Here's a doctor who loves his own medicine. Joe Weider, the master blaster, the man behind the infamous Principles, torques out yet another intense set. 1990, man. I lift 100,000 pounds in 2 hours. Yeah, I remember this advertisement. The Frank Zane leg blaster. Yeah, and I remember this. The Black Prince, Robbie Robinson. I was always a fan of both of these guys, Frank Zane and Robbie Robinson. Sergio Oliva, Larry Scott, Arnold, of course, Franco, Frank, Big Lou. Who is it? I don't know who she is. Lee Haney, Samir Bannout, and Rich Gaspari. Yeah, I think this is about it. Only a couple of pages left. Good old Rich. The 1989 Grand Prix. So for those youngins who have never seen, you know, anything pre-2000, I mean, here you go. You know, if you've never seen bodybuilding media pre-2000, or perhaps if you've never seen it before the advent of the internet, here you are. This is an official magazine. Flex, that's it. From 1990. Look at that. Yeah. All right. This video is already going to be pretty long. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to like, share, comment, and please subscribe, as that helps me with this YouTube algorithm. And I'll be back with more content on the fitness industry, personal training, and strength training in general. This whole old bodybuilding magazine is becoming a thing. People seem to like it. So I'll be back with more of that, definitely. All right, I appreciate you guys watching. Take care.